I died on the operating table, scalpel slicing through my abdomen like it was butter. While my father's voice echoed in my head from that godforsaken party, Raylan's little fix-up? Hell. She looked better before. Now she's just a walking reminder of our failures. Betrayal burned hotter than the anesthesia kicking in. Because the man wielding that knife wasn't just any surgeon, he was Dad's boss. The one who'd promised discretion for a fat bonus under the table. And as the monitors flatlined, I swore on the void swallowing me that if there was a god or a glitch in the universe, I'd claw my way back and make them all pay, starting with the family that carved me up long before the blade ever did. Waking up in my old bedroom, the one with the faded Taylor Swift posters peeling from the walls and the faint scent of vanilla candles from high school experiments gone wrong, felt like emerging from a nightmare into a worse one. My heart jackhammered against ribs that shouldn't have been whole, and I bolted upright, gasping. The sheets tangled around me like restraints. The clock on my nightstand blinked 7:14 a.m. June 15th, 2018, the exact date. 3 years before that party.
Before the surgery that ended me.
My hands flew to my stomach. Smooth, unscarred skin. No jagged reminder of the hysterectomy that had been sold to me as empowering, but was really just a cover for Dad's gambling debts. I was 25 again, back in the body I'd hated for its curves and its compromises. But alive. Trapped in a loop of my own making? No, this was a gift. A goddamn second chance wrapped in rage. I stumbled to the mirror, staring at the reflection that hadn't aged a day, wild auburn curls framing a face too soft for the storm inside, green eyes that now burned with the clarity of someone who'd seen their own autopsy report. "Holy shit," I whispered, voice cracking like it did after too many shots at that bar in Philly. The memories flooded back unbidden, the sterile hum of the
Dr.
Harlan Whitaker's gloved hands trembling not from nerves, but from the baggie of pills he'd popped to steady himself. Courtesy of my uncle's generous supply. Uncle Greg, Dad's brother. The family golden boy with the real estate empire and the secret opioid ring feeding half of Lancaster County. He'd convinced Dad that the surgery was the way out. Whitaker owed Greg big time. And helping with my women's issues would square the debt. My issues? Infertility scares I'd confessed in a drunken haze. Twisted into leverage. They didn't know the pills laced my turning a routine procedure into a hemorrhage fest. I bled out while Dad schmoozed at the country club, toasting to Raylan's fresh start. But that party, God. That party. It was the cherry on the shit sundae. 2 weeks post-op. Still wobbly on painkillers. I dragged myself to the annual Whitaker family barbecue because Dad insisted. Networking.
Kiddo.
Harlan's coming. Show him you're worth the investment. Investment. Like I was a startup pitch. The backyard was all string lights and ribs on the grill. Ants cooing over potato salad. Cousins chasing fireflies. I wore a sundress to hide the bandages, smiling through the ache, until Dad got 3 beers in and the whispers turned to jabs. Look at her. Strutting like she owns the place now, he'd slurred to Harlan, clapping him on the back. That surgery? What a joke. Raylan thinks it's gonna make her a star or something, huh? More like a cautionary tale. Laughter rippled like poison ivy. And Harlan's smile didn't reach his eyes, his hand tightening on his scotch glass. He knew. He fucking knew the truth. But the bonus check burned a hole in Dad's wallet.
So silence reigned.
I confronted Dad that night, voice shaking. You think this is funny? I almost died for your networking. He waved it off, eyes glassy. Toughen up, buttercup. Life's full of cuts. The hypocrisy gutted me deeper than the scalpel.
Dad.
The high school football hero turned mid-level insurance salesman, always preaching family first while bleeding us dry at the track. Mom had died when I was 10, cancer, the kind that eats you slow, and he'd buried his grief in bets and booze, leaving me to raise my little brother, Tommy, through thrift store Christmases and ramen dinners. Uncle Greg swooped in like the savior, funding Tommy's college dreams and Dad's delusions. But it was all strings attached. Greg's empire? Built on flipping foreclosures to desperate families, then hooking them on pills when the payments lagged. I'd uncovered emails on Dad's laptop once, blurry from tears, Greg promising to handle my medical bills if Dad kept quiet about the irregularities in Whitaker's practice.
Now,
staring at my 25-year-old self, I felt the fury solidify into a plan. This time, I wouldn't play the dutiful daughter. I'd unravel them thread by thread. Dad's denial, Greg's greed, Whitaker's weakness, until the whole rotten tapestry collapsed. But revenge isn't a straight shot. It's a maze of moral gray zones. And the first controversial call hit me before breakfast. Tommy's door creaked open down the hall, his muffled groan signaling another all-nighter gaming. At 18, he was still the baby brother I'd shielded from Dad's rages, the one who'd held my hand post-surgery, whispering, "You're unbreakable, Ray." In my first life, he'd spiraled after my death, overdosed on Greg's samples, found in his dorm with a note blaming the family. If I exposed them all, would I save him or drag him under? I could frame it as tough love, cut ties early, send him to Aunt Lila in Boston, away from the poison. But that meant lying to his face, packing his bags while he slept, forging a scholarship letter.
Cruel?
Maybe. Necessary? In this reset, survival trumps sentiment. I padded to the kitchen, the linoleum cool under my feet, and fired up Dad's ancient laptop, the same one hiding the skeletons. Password, EaglesFan69, because of course. The emails were there, timestamped yesterday in this timeline. Greg to Dad. Harlan's on board for the procedure. Tell Ray it's for her own good. Fertility scares are no joke at her age. We'll cover costs. You handle the pep talk. My stomach churned. The procedure was already in motion. Consult with Whitaker set for next month. I deleted the chain, heart pounding, then composed a new one from Dad's account to Greg. Change of plans. Ray's backing out, says it's too invasive. Let's pivot to that property deal instead. Send. A small sabotage, but it bought time. Controversial? Hell yes. Impersonating Dad could blow up in ways I couldn't predict. But the rush? Electric. By noon, Dad shuffled in, reeking of last night's dive bar, scratching his beer gut. Morning.
Sunshine.
You look like you saw a ghost. I forced a laugh, pouring him coffee black as his soul. Just a bad dream.
Dad.
About that barbecue last year, you know, the one where you roasted me alive. He froze, mug halfway to his lips, then chuckled uneasily. Water under the bridge.
Kid. Hey.
Greg's got big news. Your uncle's pulling strings for that surgery. Whitaker himself. Top shelf stuff. I leaned against the counter, crossing my arms to hide the tremble. Surgery? What surgery? His face crumpled like wet cardboard.
The
women's health thing. Greg said you mentioned it.
Lie.
I never breathed a word to Greg. Must have been a mix-up. I'm good.
Dad.
Really? The silence stretched, thick as fog off the Susquehanna, until he muttered, "Suit yourself. and retreated to the TV, flipping to ESPN with a vengeance. That afternoon, I drove to the Old Mill District, where Greg's legitimate office hid behind a facade of luxury condos. Lancaster's Rust Belt charm masked the underbelly, abandoned factories turned pill dens, families like ours teetering on eviction. I parked my beat-up Civic a block away, hood up against the summer haze, and slipped into the coffee shop across the street. Barista knew me from high school shifts. Ray, long time. The usual? Double espresso. Extra shot. Fuel for the fire. From the window, I watched Greg's silver Escalade pull up, him stepping out in his Brooks Brothers suit, all teeth and tan, greeting a shady type with a briefcase. Opioids. No doubt. In my first life, I'd ignored the signs, too busy scraping by as a barista/freelance writer, dreaming of New York bylines. This time, I'd document it all. Phone out. Zoom lens on click.
Click.
Evidence pile 1. But revenge whispers temptations. As dusk fell, Tommy texted, "Dinner? Made tacos. Don't tell Dad about the expired beef." I smiled despite myself, heading home to our cramped rancher on Elm Street. The house was a time capsule of better days, Mom's quilt on the couch, faded photos of us at Hershey Park. Over dinner, grease dripping from overcooked shells, Tommy eyed me sideways. "You okay?" Dad said something about surgery sounded weird. My fork paused midair. Tell him now. Spill the family tea and watch his world shatter? Or protect the illusion a little longer?
Nah.
Just Dad being Dad.
Hey.
What if we planned a road trip? You, me, the shore before college kicks your ass. His eyes lit up, braces glinting. For real?
No bullshit.
No bullshit. It was a decision laced with controversy. Pulling him from Greg's orbit meant appending his scholarship, which was really uncle-funded strings. But as we clinked root beer bottles, I knew some betrayals you preempt. Night fell heavy, crickets chorusing outside my window. I lay awake, plotting phase 2, infiltrate Whitaker's world. Harlan was the weak link, brilliant surgeon, lousy gambler, Dad's golf buddy. In the first timeline, he'd confided post-party, slurring over whiskey, "Your dad's a prick."
Ray.
But business is business. This time, I'd turn that guilt into a wedge. Sleep came fitful, dreams of bloodless ORs and echoing laughs, until the alarm shattered it at 6 a.m. Day 2 of resurrection, coffee, then the gym. Gotta build stamina for the storm. As I pounded the treadmill, sweat stinging my eyes, a plan crystallized. Call Whitaker's office. Pose as a patient inquiring about complications. Probe for weaknesses. Risky? Impersonation squared. But the alternative was letting history repeat. The receptionist chirped efficiency when I dialed from a burner app. DR. Whitaker's office. How may I help?
E.
This is
Elena Voss.
I had a consult last year, thinking about a hysterectomy. Heard there were some issues with the anesthesiologist. Silence. Then a hurried. Let me check records. Bingo, fishing line taut. She patched me to his nurse, who stonewalled. But I caught the edge in her voice. Fear. Whitaker's rep was Teflon in public. But whispers of adverse events swirled in med forums I'd scoured in my dying days. By hang-up, I had a nugget, a settled lawsuit from 2017, hushed with NDAs. Greg's doing. No doubt. Evening brought the first real test. Dad burst through the door, flushed from happy hour, waving a check. Greg came through. Bonus for that policy I closed. We're eating steak tonight, Tommy hooped from the couch. But I saw the lie in Dad's eyes. Track winnings. Laundered through work. Great. Dad. Invite Uncle Greg? Been too long. His grin faltered. He's busy. Translation. Hiding from me. I pressed. Come on. Family night. I'll even wear that dress you like. The one from Mom's old trunk. Guilt hook sunk. He texted Greg, and an hour later, the Escalade purred into the drive. Dinner was a minefield disguised as sirloin. Greg, all cologne and charisma, ruffled Tommy's hair. Kids got my brains. Full ride to Penn State. Right? Tommy beamed. I seethed. Dad carved the meat with gusto, regaling tales of the big leagues while I sipped water, timing my strike. So, Uncle G, about that surgery chat, Dad mentioned you had ideas. Fork clatter. Greg smiled and slip. Just looking out for you.
Ray.
Woman's body. Tough calls. Fertility windows closing. Tick-tock. Patronizing prick. I leaned in. Voice honeyed venom. Appreciate it. But I'm handling my own clock. Speaking of. Heard DR. Whitaker's got some. Creative billing. You know him well? Dad choked on his bite. Greg's eyes narrowed. Calculating. Old friend. Why? Curious. A girl does her research. The table hummed with unspoken accusations. Tommy glancing between us like a deer in headlights. Controversial move? Absolutely, poking the bear at home plate. But as Greg excused himself early, citing a call from Dubai, I tasted victory's ash. Post-dinner, Tommy cornered me in the kitchen. Suds from dishes bubbling like my nerves. What was that about? You and Greg, Tension City. Lie or truth? Just grown-up stuff. Squirt. Promise you'll trust me if I say we need distance from him. He nodded slowly. Vulnerability cracking his teen armor. You're the only one who gets it.
Ray. Dad's. Dad.
But you're my North Star. Hug tight. I whispered. Then let's chart a new course. That night, I wired $500 from my meager savings to Aunt Lila, seed for Tommy's escape fund. Moral quandary. Stealing from my future to buy his? In the balance of lives, it tipped toward redemption. Week blurred into strategy. Mornings, jog the towpath. Clearing head for plots. Afternoons, freelance gigs amped up, pitching exposés to Philly mags under pseudonyms. Testing waters on small-town pharma shadows. Rejection stung. But one bite. A editor's note. Intriguing angle. Dig deeper on Lancaster docks. Evenings stakeouts. Whitaker's clinic. A glass-fronted beacon in the sprawl. Buzzed with patients. I volunteered as a patient advocate, resume padded with fabricated creds. Slipping in on a Thursday. The waiting room reeked of Lysol and desperation, women flipping magazines. Kids fidgeting. Harlan breezed past. White coat starched. But his eyes darted. Pupils pinpricks. Pills. Again. My shift was filing charts. But I hacked the system. Old laptop skills from community college IT class. Patient files. Red flags everywhere. Overprescribed opioids post-op. Donations to Greg's PAC for community health. One name jumped. Elena Voss. The alias I'd used. Fake consult. But it linked to a real payout from Dad's account. Son of a bitch. They'd been planning this since I was 23. Fury boiled as I copied files to a thumb drive. Heart slamming.
Caught?
Security buzzed. I played dumb. New here, wrong drawer. They bought it. But sweat soaked my blouse driving home. Confrontation brewed inevitable. Dad's next bonus night. He stumbled in late, reeking of scotch and regret. Ray. Talk. Living room dim. TV droning infomercials. He slumped on the couch. Greg says you're stirring shit. What's your deal?
You said opposites.
Thumb drive burning in my pocket. My deal? How about yours, selling your daughter for a payout? His face drained. What are you on about? Emails. Dad. The surgery scam. Whitaker's dirty hands. Greg's pill pipeline. You let them cut me open to cover your debts. Denial first, then deflection. It was for you, to fix things, make you normal. Normal. The word landed like a slap. Normal like mom? Or normal like your empty promises? He lunged. Not violent but desperate. Grabbing my arm. You don't get it, Greg's all we got. Without him, we're nothing. I wrenched free. Voice steel. We were something before him. Now, you're nothing to me. Tommy walked in then. Backpack slung. Eyes wide. What's happening? Dad's mask cracked. Your sister's losing it.
Son.
Family business. I turned to Tommy. Decision crystallizing. Full disclosure. Consequences be damned. He's lying.
Tom.
Uncle Greg's a drug lord in a suit. Dad's his errand boy. They tried to kill me, indirectly. But same diff. Chaos erupted. Dad roaring. Tommy paling. Accusations flying like shrapnel. Controversial to the core, shattering the boys' heroes in one breath. But as Tommy whispered, I believe you, grabbing his keys, the fracture lines spread. We bolted to the car. Dad's bellows fading in the rearview. Aunt Lila's on speed dial. Coming tonight. Need a couch and a lawyer. Dawn broke over I-76. Philly skylines smudging the horizon. Tommy dozing shotgun. My phone buzzed, Greg. We need to talk.
Niece.
Family sticks together.
Delete.
Whitaker next. Voicemail. Anonymous. I know about the payouts. Feds might like the files. Panic button hit. The drive was catharsis. Wind whipping secrets out the window. But revenge's high fades fast. Guilt gnawed. Was I saving Tommy or cursing him with truth's weight? Lancaster shrank behind. A ghost town of what-ifs. We crashed at Lila's row house in Fishtown. Air thick with incense and cat hair. Aunt Lila. Mom's wild card sister, tattooed ex-hippie turned paralegal, hugged us fierce. Spill it.
Kids.
I've got bourbon and subpoenas. Over mugs of spiked tea. The tale tumbled, betrayals laid bare. Files emailed from my phone. Lila's eyes hardened. This smells like Rico territory. Greg's been on my radar, flipping houses to attics, then supplying the habit. Tommy, shell-shocked, muttered. I thought he was cool. Gave me that Xbox. Cool like a snake.
Tom.
But we're the ones with fangs now. Week 2 in exile, days blurred into depositions prep. Nights into strategy sessions. I pitched the story to that editor. Lancaster's pill pipeline, family ties and surgical eyes, and it landed. Conditional on verification. Lila connected us to a PI. Ex-cop with a grudge against pharma bros. First tale. Greg at a strip mall investment meet, Handshakes with junkies turned tenants. Briefcases swapped in shadows. Photos gold. Whitaker? Cracking. His office called my burner. MS.
Voss? Dr.
W would like to discuss your concerns privately. Trap set, I agreed. Venue neutral, coffee shop and reading. Halfway ground. The meet was electric tension. Harlan arrived jittery. Ty askew. Scanning like a fugitive. You have no idea the hornet's nest, he hissed over lattes. Foam flecking his lip. Greg's got everyone, cops. Judges. That surgery? A favor gone wrong. Your dad begged me. Begged? Or blackmailed with your habit? His Blanche confirmed it. What do you want?
Truth.
On record. And immunity. He laughed bitter. Immunity's a fairy tale.
But.
Files. I can leak M. Handshake sealed. Controversial alliance with the devil's apprentice. But pragmatism over purity. Back in Philly. The net tightened. Tommy enrolled online at community college. Therapy sessions mandatory. Kid was resilient, but cracks showed in his silences.
Me?
Sleepless. Haunted by dad's voicemails. Come home.
Ray.
Greg says it's a misunderstanding.
Delete.
The party loomed in memory. That mockery the spark to my inferno. This timeline's equivalent? Greg's annual clan cookout. Invites ignored. But I'd crash it, uninvited, armed with truth. The day arrived sweltering. July heat mirage shimmering off blacktop. Lila drove us back to Lancaster. Her old Volvo groaning like a reluctant witness. The Whitaker estate sprawled on the hill, pools sparkling, tents billowing, laughter floating like toxic gas. We parked curbside, me in jeans and a tee screaming normal, Tommy in shades hiding red eyes. Security waved us through, family. After all. The backyard pulsed, aunts in sundresses. Cousins cannonballing. Dad manning the grill in an apron stained with betrayal. He spotted us. Spatula dropping. Ray? What the? Greg materialized. Smile surgeon sharp. Niece, back from your little vacui? I ignored him. Zeroing on Harlan by the bar. Nursing a seltzer. Doctor, I said loud. Drawing eyes. Fancy seeing you here. Still prescribing miracles. Murmurs rippled. Dad hustled over. Not now.
Kiddo.
But Tommy stepped up. No.
Now. Dowing.
Ray. The hook sank. I raised my voice. Phone recording in pocket. This man, Dr. Whitaker, botched my surgery. Not accident. Payoff from Uncle Greg to cover Dad's debts. Pills in my 4. Files fudged. They sold me out for a quick buck. Gasps. Then chaos. Aunts clutching pearls. Cousins filming on iPhones. Greg lunged. Lies. She's unstable. Post-op delusions. Harlan cracked. Voice quavering. It's true. I took the money. Greg's network. It's everywhere. Dad's face crumpled. Harlan? You son of a... Fist flew. Connecting with Greg's jaw. Crack echoing like judgment. Guests scattered. Sirens wailed distant. Lila materialized with badges. PI's cop buddy. Waiting wings. In the melee. Twist uncoiled. Tommy. Spotting a briefcase by the pool, Greg's deals. Flipped it open. Vials glittered. Fentanyl. Stamped. Holy shit, he breathed, holding it high like Excalibur. Flashbulbs popped, the clan's facade shattered. Greg snarled. You kids are done. ruined us. But as cuffs clicked, his empire teetered. Interrogation room. Fluorescent buzz. Feds swarmed. Lila coaching from glass. Dad, in holding, begged through tears. Forgive me.
Ray.
I was weak. Controversial choice. Press charges or plea. I chose both. Testimony sharp. But a nod to the DA for leniency if he flipped on higher-ups. Betrayal's price. Mercy laced with justice. Months ground on. Trials. Headlines. Lancaster doctor. Mogul nabbed in surgery scandal. My article dropped. Byline blazing. Pulitzer whispers. Tommy thrived at Penn. Girlfriend and all clean break. Dad, community service. AA meetings. Letters weekly. Proud of you. Buttercup. Wish I was the man you needed. Forgiveness? Partial. Visits supervised. Rebuilding brick by wary brick.
Me?
New York called. Editor's job offer sealed with skyline views. But on the eve of departure, standing in Mom's old garden, soil rich under nails, I felt the loop close. Death's echo faded, life's pulse thrummed. Revenge wasn't destruction, it was rebirth. And in the quiet, I whispered to the stars, we made it.
Mom.
Unscarred. The Greyhound to New York rattled like my nerves. Diesel fumes seeping through cracked windows. Pennsylvania farmland blurring into Jersey sprawl. Tommy hugged me goodbye at the Lancaster station, his frame taller now, shoulders squared from freshman weights. Don't ghost me.
Ray.
Weekly calls, or I'm hitchhiking up. I ruffled his hair. The gesture maternal despite our reversed roles.
Deal.
And hey, that girl.
Mia?
Bring her next time. Vet her over FaceTime first. He rolled his eyes. But the grin stuck. As the bus lurched forward, Dad's silhouette lingered on the platform, waving awkwardly, a ghost-eyed half-exorcised. Forgiveness wasn't absolution, it was a truce. Fragile as the plea deal that kept him out of iron bars. Manhattan hit like a fever dream, horns blaring, sidewalks teeming with hustlers and dreamers, the air thick with halal cart spice and ambition sweat. My sublet in Hell's Kitchen was a shoebox with exposed brick and a fire escape view of neon signs, rent gouging half my advance. First week, unpacking boxes of thrift books and Mom's quilt, then the editor's office in Midtown, glass walls humming with copy deadlines. Raylan Hale, the Lancaster Avenger, my boss, a chain-smoking vet named Carla, greeted, thrusting a stack of printouts. Your piece? Killed it.
Circulation spike?
Even got a podcaster sniffing for rights. What's next? Cartels?
Cults.
I laughed, settling into the swivel chair that creaked like doubt. Local first. But yeah, something that bites back. Nights blurred into bar crawls with new colleagues, dive joints where journalists swapped war stories over IPAs. The kind with twisty handles and trivia nights. There, I met Jax, a photojournalist with ink-sleeved arms and a smirk that disarmed faster than mace. Saw your byline, gutsy. Most would have lawyered up and vanished. We bonded over whiskeys, him nursing a divorce, me dodging family probes. Controversial spark. First date. Rooftop in Brooklyn. City lights sprawling like veins. Revenge, he mused, passing a joint herb. Not hard stuff. It's a drug. Highs killer. Crash worse. I inhaled deep. Smoke curling confessions. Mine was surgical. Literal. His eyes widened. But no pity, just a hand on mine. Steady. Hook. Line. Bed by dawn. Sheets tangled in what felt like absolution. But Lancaster's shadow stalked. Greg's trial loomed. Headlines festering. Real estate tycoon faces 20 counts in opioid ring. Subpoenas pinged my inbox. Witness prep. Depositions. Lila called weekly. He's singing like Sinatra.
Ray.
Names dropping like confetti. Politicos. Suppliers. Your files?
Gold.
Dad's update sparser. Counseling's rough. Miss you, kid. I replied polite. But the scar tissue pulled. Trust a tendon. Slow to heal. Twist simmered unspoken. In the chaos post-party. A letter surfaced in Greg's briefcase. Not vials.
But docs.
Mom's death certificate. Annotated. Cancer misdiag. Push for settlement. Greg scrawl. Had he hastened her end for insurance? Poison pill, in metaphor. But the implication? My reset's rage reignited. Back in the city. Work amped. Assignment on pharma lobbying. Schmoozing suits at galas where champagne flutes clinked like hollow promises. There. Fate looped. Harlan Whitaker. Post-indictment gaunt. Nursing a club soda at the bar. MS. Hail, he rasped. Voice threadbare. Fancier poison. I stiffened. But curiosity over caution. Out on bail? Bold. He shrugged. Eyes hollowed. House arrest light. Came to. Apologize. Properly. Controversial olive branch. We talked, him spilling regrets. Me probing mom. Greg mentioned discrepancies. I pressed. Her case, anything off? His pause stretched eternal. Then, off. He buried it. Said it was mercy, euthanasia cocktail in her drip. Family decision. World tilted. Mom hadn't faded. She'd been faded.
Out.
I fled the gala. Cab racing to Jax's loft in Williamsburg. Tears hot as tar. They killed her. I sobbed into his chest. Stories spilling like bile. He held tight. No platitudes. Then we expose it. Together. Alliance forged in grief's forge. Controversial. Him folding into my vendetta like it was his own. Mornings after, coffee runs. Him snapping candids of my process face. Me typing manifestos that blurred lines between journalism and jihad. Trial week descended. Greyhound redux. Philly courthouse a fortress of marble and malice. Tommy met me curbside. Suit ill-fitting. Looking sharp. Avenger. Lila in power heels. D-Ace team buzzing. Greg in orange. Shackled. Eyes dead fish when they met mine. Testimony chair. Spotlights harsh. Questions surgical. MS.
Hale.
Describe the coercion. Voice steady. I eviscerated. Not coercion, commodity. My body. Their ledger. Gasps from gallery. Dad there. Front row. Face ashen. Greg's lawyer objected. Speculation. Judge. Overruled. Harlan followed. Crumbling. The pills. Greg supplied. For the surgery.
And.
Others. Mom's name dropped. Courtroom hushed. Twist uncoiled. Greg's outburst. Lunging at the stand. She was suffering. Mercy. You bitches. Bailiffs wrestled him down. But the seed planted. Jury eyes shifted. Verdict day. Guilty. All counts. Sentence. 25 to life.
No parole.
Gallery erupted. Relief.
Rage.
Dad approached post-hearing. Voice wrecked. You did it?
Ray.
For her, for us. Hug tentative. His frame frail. Controversial détente. Not for us.
Dad.
For truth. But I lingered, letting him buy coffee at the corner deli. Small talk skirting thorns. Therapy's helping. And Tommy, kids acing chem. Progress. Pixel by pixel. Return to New York. Jack's waiting at Port Authority. Pizza box steaming. Heroes welcome. We devoured slices on his fire escape. City hum below. What's next? He asked. Grease slick fingers lacing mine. Book deal? TED Talk. I laughed. But the void yawned. Revenge sated. What fueled the fire? Something quieter. Profile on survivors, women like me. Reclaiming narratives. He nodded.
Kishsiling.
But night terrors crept. Dreams of mom's bed. Greg's shadow. Scalpel gleams. Fall foliage turned Central Park crimson, mirroring my reset's blaze. Carla greenlit the series. Reborn, stories from the cut. First subject, Elena Voss, real one. Post-hysterectomy activist. Scars literal and lit. Interview in her queen's brownstone. Tea steeping as she shared. They said it was freedom. Felt like chains.
Equies chiled. I transkribet till dawn.
Jack's snoring beside. Controversy brewed. Peace questioned choice in medicine. Sparking Twitter storms. Empowering or eugenics. Backlash bid. But click soared. Thanksgiving pulled me south. Lila spread. Turkey brined. Tommy bringing Mia sweet. Sharp.
Studinli.
Dad arrived last. Pie in hands. AA chip glinting. Table grace. To second chances. Toasts clinked.
L'auteur tentative.
Post-feast walk. Leaves crunching. Dad sidled. Heard about the series. Proud, really. Pause heavy. Ray. About your mom. Greg confessed in lockup. It was him.
Yeah.
But I knew.
Didn't stop it.
Bomb drop. I halted. Breath fogging autumn air. Knew.
Weak.
Thought it ended her pain. Slap unspoken. Instead. Words. Pain's yours now. Live with it. He nodded. Tears carving tracks. Controversial absolution? Not yet, but the door cracked. Winter gripped. Snow blanketing stoops. Holidays harsh in solitude. Jack's proposed road trip, Asheville. Blue Ridge escape. Cabin cozied with flannel and fireplaces. Us hiking trails slick with frost. Marry me, he asked one dusk. Rings simple silver. Heart stuttered, love or anchor. Not yet, I whispered. Still mending. He smiled, fair. But I'm in. Intimacy deepened. Bodies mapping scars unseen. Spring bloomed controversy. Series finale dropped. Mom's story woven in. The mercy that wasn't. Protests erupted. Feminist rallies chanting my name. Pharma lobbies smearing griefmonger. Death threats pinged. Jack's installed locks. But impact rippled. Bills proposed. Hearings called. Carla, you're a force. Hail. Summer circled. Anniversary of the party. Ghost date. I hosted my own Philly rooftop. Survivors toasting survival.
Demi-digidé.
Mia danced. Dad sent card. Healing. Greg's appeal denied. Whitaker disbarred. Closure? Partial.
Twist S-tail. Anonymous tip Greg S offshore stash.
Enough to fund restitution. DA called. Your call, victim's pot. I chose. Scholarship for Tommy's kids to be. Clinic for low-income women. Legacy over loot. Labor Day. Jax and I on Coney Boardwalk. Waves crashing. Cotton candy sticky. Now, he teased. Laughter bubbled. Yeah.
Now.
Ring slipped on. Future glinting. Back in the loop. But this time, I steered. From ashes. Phoenix, unmocked. Unscarred. Unbreakable. The engagement ring caught fairy light as we chugged toward the Hamptons. Jax's Nikon slung over his shoulder, capturing gulls wheeling against slate skies. Photo op or sapfest, he quipped, framing my profile against Long Island Sound. I leaned into him, salt wind tangling our hair. Both. Make me look fierce.
Click.
Print later. Tacked to our fridge amid takeout menus and rally flyers. Life post-verdict settled into rhythm, me jetting between desk and datelines. Him chasing conflict zones but always circling home. Controversial harmony. Love as co-pilot in Vendetta's wake. But doubts nagged. Was I building or just bracing? Labor Day weekend sprawl. Carla's invite to her beach house. A shingled relic stuffed with journos and bottles. Network. Hail, your series is catnip. Arrival. Gravel crunch under tires. Scent of dune grass and grill smoke. Guests milled, podcasters pontificating. Novelists nursing Negronis. Lila there. +1 a Silver Fox attorney. Sparks. Sis. I winked. For you? Maybe. Tommy and Mia crash later. U-Haul packed for their DC.
Internship hop.
Big leagues, he beamed, lugging coolers. Evening bonfire crackled. Faces gilded orange. Stories swapped. Mine. The surgical saga. Drew nods. Heard the pod brave. Jax squeezed my knee. Silent anchor. Dad called midway. Voice tinny over crackle. Having fun? Send a check for the happy couple.
Pause.
Miss the beach days. Like when you were little. Nostalgia's hook-tugged, pre-betrayal idols. Sandcastles and esmores. Thanks.
Dad.
We're good. Hang up soft. But the echo lingered. Redemption's arc. Bend not break. Night deepened. Stars pricking velvet. Jax and I wandered dunes. Toes sinking cool sand. Kids, he ventured. Casual.
Freeze.
Fertility's ghost. The surgery that never was. But the fear?
Etched.
Someday. Adopt. Maybe. Or science our way. He nodded. Your call. Our circus. Kiss salty. Promise sealed. Back at fire. Carla pulled me aside. Offer. Bureau chief. London. Your gig. Expose on NHS scandals. Temptation flared. Escape. Impact. But roots? Tommy's wedding next summer. Dad's fragile sobriety.
Think on it, she pressed.
Sleepless beside snoring Jax. Decision loomed. Chase or cherish. September stormed in. Leaves turning. News cycles churning. My inbox flooded. Book agent circling. Reborn pitched as memoir.
Raw.
Real. Add the romance arc. One gushed. Jax. Do it. Your voice. Uncut. Outline sketched over diner eggs. Chapters on death's door. Reset rage. Family fracture. Controversy baked in. Critics would howl. Exploitative. But truth's blade cuts deep. Trials ripple hit home. Restitution checks cleared. Clinic groundbreaking in Lancaster. Hale House. Plaque reading. Lila texted pics. Shovels in soil. Survivors smiling. Your legacy? Kid. Tears pricked, call to dad. Visit sometime? I'd like that. Step tentative. October twist. Anonymous envelope at office, Manila. No return. Inside. Photos. Grainy, Greg and Supermax. Visitor log highlighted. Dad's name. Weekly stamps. Heart plummeted. What the fuck? Jax over coffee. Confront or investigate? PI on speed dial. Ex-cop confirmed. Innocent visits. Greg's pushing for appeal. Using family ties. Rage simmered. Dad. Playing both sides? Drive south. Unannounced. Lancaster autumn. Foliage fiery. But chill seeped bones. Dad's trailer. Post-divorce downgrade. AA pamphlet stacked. He answered door in flannel. Surprise softening to shame. Ray? Everything okay? Kitchen formica scarred. Coffee brewing weak. The visits. To Greg. His cup rattled saucer. He reached out, said he was sorry. Needed to hear it. Foreclosure. Lie detector blared. Closure or conspiracy. He's rotting.
Dad.
Why feed the monster? Tears welled his. Guilt. Thought if I forgave, it'd heal me. Controversial calculus. Pity or prosecute.
One more chance, I said.
Cut contact. Or I'm done. Nod solemn. Done. Return north. Catharsis half-baked. Book deal inked. Advanced buying breathing room. Jax and I scouting lofts in Bushwick. Exposed beams and elbow space. Holidays hummed. Thanksgiving at Lila's. Menorah candles flickering beside turkey. Blended rites. Tommy proposed to Mia over pie. Ring from his savings. No handouts. Cheers erupted. Dad Skyped in. Sober toast. To new beginnings. Winter gripped. Snowdrifts piling. Deadlines looming. London offered deadline loomed, Carla. Decide.
Hail.
Jax neutral. Go if it calls. I'll follow. Heart split. Adventure versus anchor. Night before deadline. Rooftop under twinkling strung lights. City muffled white. Staying, I declared. Here. With you, with us. Relief in his grin. Knew it. But the world's your oyster, oyster with roots. Spring equinox. Book tour kickoff. Readings in indie shops from Brooklyn to Boston. Audiences wrapped. Q&A delving deep. Revenge or justice? Both, I'd say. Justice with teeth. Controversy crested. Fox segment branding me family destroyer. Viral backlash defending. Jax's shots captured the fire. Cover art sealed. Summer solstice. Tommy's wedding. Lancaster Cathedral aglow stained glass. Mia radiant lace. Him tuxedo crisp. Dad walked her, honor bestowed. Eyes misty. Reception barn rustic. String quartet twanging country. Dance floor spun, me and Dad. Awkward sway. Proud. Buttercup, he murmured. Of the woman you became, despite me. Throat tight. With you?
2.
Slowly.
Truce deepened.
Twists echo. Greg's appeal, new evidence. Tampered files. Hearing loomed. My testimony subpoenaed. Courtroom redux. Him haggard. Lawyer spinning, coerced confession. Harlan recanted partial. Pressure. Yeah, but truth stands. Jury deliberated days. Verdict. Denied. Gallery sigh collective. Outside. Greg's glare. This ain't over. Niece. Chills. But Jax's arm steel. It is. Fall harvest. Book climb charts. Options whispered, Hollywood?
Nah. Control freak.
Instead. Podcast launch. Reset Radio. Survivor spotlights. First EP. Elena Voss. Voice cracking live. Listeners surged. Sponsors ethical clinics, not core. November chill. Anniversary trip Bermuda. Beaches blinding. Proposal redux. This time vows scribbled sand. In resets and rages. I choose you. Honeymoon haze. Sunsets sipped. Bodies bronzed. Return. Positive test. Jax's whoop echoing loft. Science worked. Baby hail. Do spring. Miracle unscarred. But shadows lengthen. Dad's relapse scare. Bender. Bailed by Tommy. Intervention call. We're here. But you fight.
He did.
Rehab stint. Forgivenesses weave. Threads pulled tight. Winter solstice. Nursery painted sage. Onesies folded. Book 2 brewing. Echoes. Legacy of lies. Controversy courted. Dive into mom's mercy. Ethics of exposure. Spring bloom. Labor pains literary. Birth story drafted bedside. Daughter arrived squalling. Auburn wisps. Green eyes fierce. Name. Eloan. Elm tree. Roots deep. Jack's cradling. Our reset. From death's door to dawn's chorus. Life. Unbetrayed. Eloan's first cry pierced the delivery room like a siren's call. Raw and relentless. Yanking me from the haze of epidural fog. Jax's face hovered. Tear-streaked grin splitting his beard. She's perfect. Ray, fierce like her ma. Nurses swaddled her in hospital-issue blankie. Placing the bundle in my arms, tiny fists flailing. Lashes fanning cheeks flushed pink. Weight settled. Not burden, but ballast. Anchoring the vertigo of new motherhood to this second-chance soil. Monitors beeped steady. No flatlines haunting. Monitors of life. Not loss. Raylan Hale, the doc announced. Clipping tags. Mother and warrior. Laughter bubbled. Exhausted. Just Ray. And she's alone. Ellie to us. Hospital discharge blurred into homecoming chaos. Loft transformed, crib in corner. Burp cloths cascading like confetti. Tommy and Mia helicoptered up from D.C. Aunt Uncle duties with diapers and dim sum deliveries. She's got your fire, Tommy cooed. Ellie latched fierce. Mia snapped candids. For the book, Reborn Redux. Lila FaceTimed from Philly. Cigarillo puffing. Grandniece. Tell her Aunt Lila's got bail money on speed dial. Dad's call tentative. Can I visit? See her? Pause waited. Jax's nod subtle. Soon.
Dad.
When we're settled. Weeks melted into milky rhythms. Night feeds under city glow. Jax's lullabies off-key but earnest. My body, once battlefield, now bloomed, stretch marks silvered like victory stripes. Work flex remote, podcast eps edited one-handed. Book 2 chapters tapped in snatched silences. Controversy simmered domestic. Mommy track or maverick? Forums debated my pivot, but Eleanor's gurgles drowned trolls. Summer scorched. Central Park picnics. Ellie in carrier cooing at pigeons. Jax's exhibit opening. Fractured frames. Intimate exposés. Featured our story. Prince of that Dune proposal. Firelit confessions. Gallery buzzed. Critics praising vulnerable vengeance. Carla cornered post-toast. London's open. Maternity leave extension. Temptation tickled. But roots held. Family first. Always. Lancaster pilgrimage. Dad's trailer spruced. AA meetings etched routine. He met Ellie on porch swing. Hands trembling as he cradled. Grandpa's girl. Sorry I wasn't. Better. Her grip on his finger. Instinctual forgiveness? I watched. Heart thawing. You're trying. That's the win. Picnic by the Susquehanna. Water's lazy. Tommy grilling veggie burgers. Stories softened edges. Mom's recipes revived. Laughter lapping loss. Twist uncoiled autumnal. Greg's prison shank, botched hit. Retaliation from snitches. News pinged. Mogul stabbed. Stable. Lila. Karma's boomerang. But mail followed his scrawl. Smudged. Ray endgame. Dad's next if you don't recant. Threats chill.
Despite bars.
PI tailed dad clean. But paranoia perched. Controversial counter. Leaked to feds. His appeals poisoned. Let him rot, Jax urged.
Done.
Book 2 launch. Echoes. Fall leaves crunching under tour vans. Readings raw. Mom's chapter. Mercy's myth unraveled. Q&A heated. Exploiting grief? Honoring it. I countered. Sales soared. Ted invite landed. Reset. From betrayal to birth. Stage lights hot. Words winged. Death taught me life's not linear. It's looped. Laced with choices that scar or save. Winter wrap gentle. Ellie's first snow. Fat flakes feathering lashes. Holidays hybrid. Lila's Seder. Dad's dry turkey, blended bloodlines. Ring exchange with Jax renewed. Bands etched loop. Babies babble bridged gaps. Spring surged. Ellie toddling. Terrorizing with sippy cups. Podcast pivot. Echoes live. Survivor circles virtual. Assignment twist. Embed with pharma reformers. DC. Corridors echoing Lancaster lies. Mia pregnant. Cousins. Tommy crowed. Family fractal. Expanding. Controversy crested summer. Fox Redux. Hale's hustle. Profiting pain. Segments smeared. Sponsors wavered. Backlash boomeranged. Stand with Ray trended. GoFundMe for clinic swelled. Jax's Doka short. Unscarred. Premiered Sundance standing O. Deals stangled. Hollywood he mused. Nah, our story. Our soil. Fall fermented. Dad's remission. Cancer scare. Early catch. Irony bitter. Like mom's. Chemo loomed. I flew down. Ellie in tow. Hospital halls haunted. But his grip strong. Fight I am. Kid. Vigil with Tommy. Stories stitching wounds. Remission rang bells. Clean. Hugs hospital hard. Twist's tale. Whitaker's suicide note. Leaked. Regrets to Hale family. Mercy was madness. Closures cut.
Clean.
Book 3 seated. Mercy's shadow. Winter's hush. Ellie's second birthday. Cake smeared grins. Proposal to Lila. Move closer. Philly orbit. She. For you?
Bet.
Spring's thaw. Relocation whisper. Philly townhouse. Commute conquerable. Jax. Roots roam. Packed boxes brimmed hope. Summer solstice. Wedding vow renewal. Backyard lilas. Oaths under oaks. Ellie flower girl. Toddling petals. Dad best man. Toastery. To loops unbroken. From scalpel's edge to crib song, reborn. Relentless. Philly's pulse thrummed different post move. Cobblestones clacking under stroller wheels. Reading terminals market maze yielding pierogies and produce. Townhouse perched in Graduate Hill. Bay windows framing Fairmount Park's green sprawl. Space for Ellie's chaos. Office snook for mine. Jax's darkroom and basement. Red light spilling like secrets. Unpacking unearthed relics. Mom's quilt refold. Dad's AA chip-pinned corkboard. New chapter he visited. Lugging heirlooms. Ellie clambered his lap. Gampa. Laughter lines deepened his. Heartbreaker already. Work wove seamless. Podcast studio rented nearby. Mics capturing cadences of courage. Echoes evolved. Episodes on mercy killings. Ethics entangled. Guests grappled. Docs dissenting. Widows wailing. Controversy coursed. AMA boycott calls.
Gulisten log de millions.
Carla promoted remote. Bureau from afar, your empire. Autumn ambered. Ellie's preschool plunge. Finger paints and phonics. Drop-offs tear-tinged. Pickups pure joy. Tommy's bundle arrived, nephew Nolan. Red-cheeked roly-poly. Mia. Payback for your Avenger genes. Family swelled. Sunday suppers at our table, casseroles and confessions. Book 3 brewed. Mercy shadow. Drafts delving dad's complicity. Framed redemption. Agent antsy. Gutsy. Readers crave the gray. Readings previewed excerpts. Crowds hushed. Forgiveness isn't erasure. It's etching over. Winter whispered threats. Greg's endgame echo. Harassment hits. Letters laced venom. You'll pay. Niece. Blood for blood. Feds flagged. Monitored. But watch. Jax installed cams. PI patrolled. Controversial calm. Therapy tandem. Unpacking paranoia. Ellie oblivious. Stacking blocks. Castle strong. Spring surge. Dad scans spotless. Remission rooted. OU. Ray, that push. Joint hike Wissahickon. Leaves unfurling. Remember the party, he ventured. Worst of me. Nod. Best of me was walking away, then coming back. Bridge burned. Rebuilt. Twist terminal. Greg's cellmate snitched. Plot foiled. Hitman hired for dad. Indictments piled. His appeals ash. Final letter. Postmark prison. Lost it all, your win. Burned unread. Ashes to autumn wind. Summer scorched. Sundance sequel for Jax's docu. Unscarred. The sequel. Ellie's cameo cooing credits. Premiere cheers. Bids buzzed. Standy. I teased. Always. Art over avarice. Falls fruition. Book drop. Tour truncated for tot. Signings intimate Philly Library. Fans fierce. You saved me. Nolan's baptism. Us godparents. Vows veiled in verse. A controversy climax. Senate hearing. My testimony teed. Mercy's mask hides murder. Regulate the shadows. Cameras clicked. Senators squirmed. Bill birthed. Hail act. Oversight etched. Winter's warmth. Ellie's holiday pageant. Tiny shepherd. Halo askew. Dad and audience. Clapping loudest. Post-show Coco. Proud. Buttercup, all of it. Spring symphony. Nolan's crawl. Ellie's chatter. Podcast peak. Live from clinic. Survivors spotlighted. Lila's wedding. Silver fox sealed. Us bridesmaids boogieing. Summer zenith. Vow renewal beach. Rehoboth sands. Waves whispering. Ellie scattered petals. Nolan gurgling. Oves ocean deep. In every loop. I choose us. Twists tender. Dad's proposal. Remarry? For real this time. Stepmom's search? Gentle no. Your path.
Dad.
We're good. Falls fade. Book 4 flickered. Loops eternal.
Legacy lecture circuit. Collège Clamoring.
Resilience 101. Winter's wreath. Family fusion. Thanksgiving tableau. Tables groaning. Toasts to trials turn triumphs. Spring eternal. Ellie's kindergarten gate. Hand in mine. Ready.
Manga.
Born ready. From flatline to full bloom. Betrayed no more. Unbreakable always. The end looped not closed. But open, life's page turned.
Ben mine.